found 6 real French chateaux, all under $460,000. And before you say, yeah, but they're ruins, hear me out, because the first one alone is going to make you question every life decision you've ever made. We're talking stone walls, marble fireplaces, swimming pools, tennis courts, golf courses, private driveways, valley views, and medieval towers, all described as move-in ready at the time of this roundup. No major renovations on most of these. Solid properties you can actually live in, not construction projects you'll regret for a decade. I saved the strongest for the end, and one of the last 2 completely breaks expectations. So stay with me, because the leader is going to change more than once, and the final 2 are genuinely something else. Let's zoom in. Not Paris, not the Riviera, not the places you already know the prices for and already know you can't afford them. We're talking the old interior. Poitou-Charentes, Nouvelle-Aquitaine, Midi-Pyrénées, Haute-Marne, rolling hills, sunflower fields, medieval villages, rivers you've never heard of, and a quality of life that the rest of Europe has been quietly borrowing from for centuries. Let's start at the bottom of the ladder. And even at the bottom, this ladder starts somewhere absurd. €139,990. That's $163,500. For a ground floor, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, inside a genuine French chateau in Les Forges. A small commune in the Deux-Sèvres department of Poitou-Charentes. The kind of place where the countryside is so green and unhurried, it barely feels like the 21st century. With a swimming pool, 2 tennis courts, and a 27-hole golf course 1 minute's walk from your front door. The exterior is exactly what you're picturing. Stone facade, original grand staircase, a conservatory overlooking the pool that's shared among the owners. Inside the apartment itself, you've got parquet flooring, original wood paneling, high ceilings with plasterwork throughout, a salon accessed through double doors with an oak floor and a marble fireplace, a fully fitted kitchen with granite worktops and quality built-in appliances, and a dining room that also functions as a second bedroom, complete with its own marble fireplace and French door to the side. The listing describes it as a ground floor apartment in a property that's clearly been looked after. Not a building site, not a blank canvas, not a has potential diplomatic euphemism. You can actually move into this. No major renovations, no contractor negotiation, no 18-month delay. A bio shop, a restaurant, and the golf bar are all within walking distance. The towns of Valais and Ménigout are 5 kilometers away, and Poitiers, International Airport, TGV station, a proper city, is 30 minutes up the road, and the best part is, you're not buying upkeep headaches. The grounds, all 84,000 square meters, that's roughly 904,000 square feet, or about 21 acres of them, are shared across 27 owners. And according to the listing, running costs come to around €15,000 per year, covering utilities, maintenance, and all common areas combined. A chateau life with the administration handled for you. It's not a museum, it's real life. But don't stop here, because the next one rewrites the rules entirely. Quick breath. And a word about this part of France. The Vienne Valley, the Charente, the Creuse. These aren't regions that show up in travel magazines much, and that's exactly why the prices look like this. Quiet roads, 0 tourist crowds, river towns that feel frozen in the good kind of way, but not in a sad, left-behind way. In the way where the boulangerie is still there, the weekly market hasn't been replaced by a car park, and the neighbors actually know each other. You're not competing with anyone for this life. Listings at this level move when the right person finds them, so keep that in mind as we go. Property 2, €244,000. That's $288,000. And here the leader changes. Le Vigeant sits along the Vienne River in the heart of Nouvelle-Aquitaine, a region of soft hills and slow rivers where the stone architecture has been quietly perfecting itself since the medieval period. This is the west wing of Château de Vigeant, and it is not a fixer-upper. The listing describes it as fully modernized and renovated to a high standard. Exposed stone walls blended with contemporary elegance. Underfloor heating controlled by Wi-Fi. A south-facing, open-plan kitchen and living space that opens directly onto a terrace, making the most of the sunshine. The layout is approximately 108 square meters, around 1,163 square feet. Entrance room, 2 bedrooms, bathroom, open plan office space, kitchen and living area combined. The second bedroom is currently used as a studio, which gives you flexibility depending on how you use the space. 1.5 meter thick stone walls keep it naturally cool in summer and warm in winter, double glazed, insulated attic, and there's a strong VDSL internet connection already in place with fiber arriving soon nearby. This is genuinely remote work capable. Outside, a private gated driveway 90 meters long that you approach through tall stone walls, 5,600 square meters of gardens, about 60,000 square feet, just over an acre, with mature fruit trees and space for growing vegetables, and a 40 square meter, roughly 430 square foot outbuilding, currently housing a workshop and a finished sauna. With planning permission already granted to convert it further, the listing notes the property can be left fully furnished, which means you're stepping in and starting your life, not waiting on a kitchen to be fitted. L'Île-Jourdain is 3 kilometers away. Shops, supermarket, restaurants, an old railway line for cycling, 2 reservoirs nearby for kayaking and fishing, Poitiers, airport an hour's drive. And the best part is, for $288,000, you're getting a renovated chateau wing with Wi-Fi heated stone floors, a private sauna, and a gated estate feel. Described as move-in ready, no major renovations required. But what's coming next has a twist that no one expects, so don't click away. We're moving southwest now. Marmande sits in the Lot-et-Garonne, tucked between the Garonne River and the Bordeaux wine belt, a corner of France so deeply agricultural and proud of it that the local tomatoes have their own festival. Into the Bordeaux orbit, wine villages, limestone architecture, century-old trees, and a city that manages to be both historic and genuinely cool within an hour's drive. This is where the Southwest starts to feel like a different country altogether. 353,000 euros, roughly $417,000. This chateau near Marmande carries the bones of a classic French manor. High ceilings, intricate plaster moldings, stone flooring, a terrace with decorative balustrades. The grounds have a landscaped park featuring century-old cedar trees and a central fountain that adds a formality to the approach you genuinely can't manufacture. The villages of Montségur and Duras are close by, and Bordeaux, cafes, international airport, TGV to Paris in 2 hours, is just an hour away. Inside there's a spacious sitting room, kitchen, 3 double bedrooms, and 2 bathrooms. Now, and I want to be straight with you here because that's the whole point of this. The listing notes this one requires some renovation. The attic spans the full width of the house, and there's a large adjoining outbuilding with exceptional original framework, described as having real development potential. So this is for the person who wants a project with exceptional bones, not a turnkey situation. What you're buying here is a genuine manor in wine country, 1 hour from a major international city, with century-old cedar trees in the garden and room to grow in every direction. That's hard to replicate at any price, but if you want something further along the renovation scale, the next one surprises everyone. Let's zoom further east. Nouvelle-Aquitaine, between Poitiers and Limoges. This stretch of central France is where the countryside turns a deeper shade of green, and the stone starts telling stories that go back centuries before anyone thought to write them down. Rolling green countryside, historic market towns, that particular French light in the afternoon that makes everything look slightly unreal. This is where the prices drop and the history deepens. Close to shops, 30 minutes to Montmorillon station, motorway access nearby, 360,000 euros, $419,000. And this is a 14th century chateau, not chateau style, not chateau adjacent, an actual fortified residence first mentioned in historical archives in 1314, rebuilt in the 15th century by Guy Frotier, a local lord, with ornate windows and carved coats of arms representing the Frotier family still visible on the stonework today. The remaining portion of the chateau is in need of restoration. The listing is transparent about that, and the shell work was started over 7 years ago. But alongside it sits a fully usable 19th century manor house, offering over 151 square meters, approximately 1,630 square feet of living space. Entrance hall, bedroom, kitchen, with a view directly onto the chateau, sitting room with a majestic fireplace on the ground floor, 2 more bedrooms and a bathroom with uninterrupted views upstairs. You have a 20 by 20 meter barn with water and electricity already connected, a bread oven, and the entire property sits on 4.79 acres of land. This one is specifically for heritage lovers. It says so in the listing and I'll echo it, but for someone who wants a livable manor house as their primary residence while the chateau restoration continues beside it, it's a genuinely one-of-one find. The leader changes again with the next one, and this one nobody sees coming. The Midi-Pyrénées. South of France but inland, this is ancient Gascony, Armagnac country, foie gras country, the region that feeds the rest of France and doesn't particularly need you to know about it. The Gers department sits at the foot of the Pyrenees with a climate warm enough for lavender and sunflowers, and an architectural culture built around Bastide towns and fortified hilltop villages that have barely changed since the 100 Years' War. The city of Auch, capital of the Gers, a place with Roman roots, a weekly market so good that people drive in from neighboring departments, and a cathedral that's been standing since the 16th century. And right in the middle of a park that the residents of Auch actually use and love daily, there is a 16th century castle. 362,000 euros, $421,000. And here's the twist nobody anticipates. This is an apartment, a 117 square meter apartment. That's about 1,260 square feet. Inside a living, breathing 16th century castle, accessed by a private elevator, with 2 offices built into the original towers. Tower offices for remote work or as a library. The main space includes a generous, bright living room with a fireplace, a fully equipped separate kitchen, 2 quiet bedrooms, a bathroom, and a pantry and laundry room. There's a private garden, 2 covered parking spaces, and the listing describes original features throughout: exposed beams, stone walls, castle proportions, with the property presented as move-in, ready as described. And the best part is, you're a short walk to the city center. All shops, markets, cafes, and public transport. No isolation, no car dependency for every errand. This is chateau character embedded in a working French town, and for the right person, remote worker, someone who wants city access with medieval ambience, a family who wants something extraordinary for the school run, it's the smartest buy on the list. But the finale? The finale is in a different league entirely. We're finishing in Haute-Marne. Chaumont is a hilltop town in the Grand Est region of northeast France. Famous for its medieval viaduct, its annual international poster festival, and the kind of unhurried civic pride that comes from 8 centuries of being quietly important. 30 minutes from Langres with its Roman ramparts, and a train station connecting directly to Paris, Dijon, and Nancy. And a mansion that looks like it belongs on the cover of something expensive. 395,000 euros. That's about $460,000. This is the top of the ladder, and it earns every euro. The listing describes a 19th century Grand Bourgeois residence. Stone facade, landscaped garden, open valley views framed by the edge of the forest. The moment you walk through the door, a central spiral staircase rises under a zenithal skylight. That's your first glimpse, and it sets the tone for everything that follows. Then the rooms open up. Antique woodwork, marble fireplaces, oak floors throughout, moldings and ironwork that the listing describes in detail as markers of a craftsman era that doesn't exist anymore. Every room, whether it faces the street or the garden, bathes in natural light. The kind of proportions that architects try to recreate and never quite manage. And here's what sets this apart from anything else on this list. The listing notes a recent renovation that respected the soul of the property while adding discreet modern comforts. Air conditioning, updated heating, contemporary touches in the kitchen and bathrooms. No major renovations required. No structural surprises. No well, the roof needs work phone calls from a surveyor. You can actually move into this one. Described as ready to live in as presented, 2 south-facing terraces overlook the valley and the forest edge. There are Medici sculptures in the garden, mature trees, a landscaped path system, and the property is set in a residential neighborhood that's a short walk from the heart of Chaumont. Ancient streets, a basilica, a market, museums, daily life on your doorstep. And the best part is, for under $460,000, you're getting a fully renovated 19th century mansion with valley views, period details intact, 2 terraces, and a garden with actual sculptures in it, described at the time of this roundup as move-in ready. It's not a museum, it's real life, and it is the strongest find on this entire list. 6 chateaux, 6 very different lives, but all of them solid properties, all described at the time of this roundup as livable, and all of them under the price of a parking space in central London. Prices are as of the time of this roundup. Always verify with a notaire, check current feeds and availability, because the good ones go when the right buyer finds them. Now here's what I want from you. Which one would you actually pick? The Golf Chateau at $163,000? The renovated Valley Mansion at $460,000? Or one of the surprises in the middle that caught you off guard? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more finds like this, make sure you're subscribed, because the next region we're covering is even cheaper and even more surprising.